All right. So section number 2, hook, story, offer. Hook, story, offer is the bait section of the secret formula. And hook, story, offer essentially is hook is how your audience is going to find out what you're doing. The story is the story of your product and the origin of who you are as whatever product you're presenting. And the offer is usually a one-time offer initially, but then it introduces them to the value ladder, and where you just continuously, provide offer throughout everything that you do and help your client ascend up the ladder. So let's get into hook, story, ladder, or hook, story, offer. Let's do it.
Let's do hook, story, offer. So hook. Mm-hmm. When you're thinking about your ideal customer,
nice.
When you're thinking about your ideal customer, think about the conversation that they're having in their head before they come to your ad. So if I'm a busy mom, I'm probably not thinking about getting a book or getting an info product. But if I say that I can save you 30 minutes of time each day while you're picking your kids up from school, and that's going to make you extra income, then I'm speaking to her directly. And so the hook should always, always, always be honed in on what the person is thinking before and what you want to have them thinking after they read it.
Agreed. Definitely. I mean, think about right now in your life, if you digest social media, you are being marketed things that you have either inquired about online or that you use in your daily life anyway and probably talk about with your friends and family through social media. So that is an example as to how effective it can be if you consider what your client is, what conversation they're having as soon as they see your feed in their social media feed. So
yeah, and that's a really great point. There's also a book called Traffic Secrets, and we're going to get into a ton of different tools that we use, from Dotcom Secrets to Expert Secrets, Traffic Secrets, 80/20 marketing. But in Traffic Secrets, they do talk about tools that you can use similar to what other brands are using to track your customer from your hook to your website to the actual buying of your product and getting on your email list. So don't be afraid of this process now and think, oh, well, how will I possibly know what they're thinking about or where they're coming from? There are some simple tools, powerful but simple tools in Google with Google Tag Manager and Facebook with Facebook Pixel that you can use to put code into each ad that you run or each post that you make, so that you can also follow those people. Because like we all know, if you search something on Google or on Amazon, that is likely going to show up in your feed at some point on your social media, and you're able to do that too. It's just that these companies have already had years of practice doing it, but there are ways for us do-it-yourself entrepreneurs to do that as well. But getting into the story is really where you get to show yourself. Because I was reading, I think it was in Traffic Secrets, about a young woman that was marketing her yoga practice, and she talked about the first time she peed on herself because she had a baby, and many women out there know this, that your pelvic floor shifts when you have a baby sometimes, and it may not go back to where it naturally is, so you don't have as much control of your bladder as you would normally want. And so she talked about this most embarrassing moment, probably one of the most embarrassing moments in her life, to be able to say that her yoga practice helped her reset her pelvic floor and were able to control her bladder from that point on. And any woman that's been in that same situation is automatically going to resonate with that. And for her to be as upfront and honest and vulnerable automatically also creates some sort of credibility and trust. And really what this is all about, it's not about selling. so much as it is providing value to people that you would have wanted for yourself.
Precisely it. Like, I mean, you couldn't have put it more, intentionally, but yeah, it's less about selling it as you go on and more about just relating to someone in an effective way.
Yeah.
So that's what the story is about, really.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, because that's how everybody sells anything that they're trying to do, even if it's a point of view. Like, if you're trying to sell your point of view, you're going to tell a story to whoever's digesting it in order to have them convinced. So this is a similar, it's a similar thing.
Exactly. And when you're new, it's very similar to dating. It's like if somebody came up to you and just started talking about what they sell or what they can do and how they do it, you'd probably walk away pretty quickly. Or, if you now end the date, you would probably not ask for a second date. Mm-hmm. But if this person was very vulnerable with you, they told you a story about, maybe for me, for instance, my dad taught me about Junior Academy when I was a very young man. And so learning about men in business and people that were business owners was something that came to me early on in my life. And so I think that's one of the reasons that I'm an entrepreneur today. But me telling you that story is opening me up for you to be able to see that this isn't just some hoax. This isn't some really dinky product that I'm trying to sell you. What I'm trying to do at the end of the day is give you the value that I've gotten through the same product. And so we're going to kind of put our Maven hats on today. Normally I'm a connector, and if you've read Outliers, or I believe it's The Tipping Point, you know about connectors, mavens, and we'll probably get into that later, and salesmen. And I'm definitely not a salesman, so that's why I take this approach to my business is like I'm more referring you to something like a Maven would, versus like I build a product, I just want to sell it. I can sell it to anybody. I can sell, ice to an Eskimo type of thing.
Right.
I'm not that type of person. And so you want to tell stories that kind of lend to that, or that lend to your personality.
Yeah, exactly. So we discussed the hook and we discussed the story. Now the offer is interesting because me personally, I struggle with this part because I do so many different things that I haven't necessarily priced out or conceptualized as a product that I do or could sell, right? So the offer is something that I'm learning quickly. It can be a range of things. It doesn't necessarily, if you're a painter, you don't necessarily have to only offer someone a piece of art that's painted. You can find out more things that you're willing to offer or can afford to offer that people would like to take. Even now they're in the door. Mm-hmm. Now they know what you're about. And now this is your opportunity to give them more value, which is the point of this whole experience. Exactly. So it's to give your client more value. So the offer is really cool. What are your thoughts about reading about the offer section?
So the lucky thing for me is that I've gone through some further training besides these books, and I love how deeply they get into these things over time. And this is a really good introduction, but I highly suggest going through the whole trilogy. In the Traffic Secrets training and the One Funnel Away challenge, they talk about the offer stack. So when I'm thinking about an offer, it says here, what is your irresistible offer? And so say I was going to sell you one of our products, this CD, right? To you, this CD right now is just a piece of plastic that you may not care about. But if I tell you that on this CD, you can get all of our artists collaborating in a way that they normally don't, you would never hear anywhere else, you probably won't hear live. You're also going to get some videos behind that go along with the songs that you see here. We're going to give you the lyric sheets to each song so you can actually read along with the lyrics and understand what we're talking about. And then on top of that, not only will I give you all that, but I'm going to give you a discount on one of our t-shirts or another product. Then this might actually be worth something to you. So when we're thinking about pricing and things like that, you want to give the first piece of product or service that you're going to put out a price that fits in the budget of your ideal customer, number one, but it's also going to net you some kind of profit. At the end of the day, you're probably spending money on ads and other things, so you want to at least make that money back, if not be profitable. And so when we're thinking about pricing our services or products and things like that, make sure that it's affordable to start out with, but also don't go in the hole trying to make your product super affordable. And then on top of that, what you want to do is add other bonuses that make your offer irresistible. So yeah, like I said, you may not want the CD just off the bat, but some of those other things might resonate with you. And that's just an example for the CD. When we're talking about this book, there's like millions of dollars worth of knowledge in this book. So that's really all you should need. But in my affiliate business for this particular book, I also offer I'll build your first funnel for free. I will send you an audiobook version of this book. I have a PDF version of this book so that when you order it, you can start reading right away. You don't have to wait on it to be shipped to you, which takes about a couple weeks. And there's a few other add-ons that I add in that make it an irresistible offer. Honestly, it should be on its own, but then I want to follow the model that Russell's set forth. And I know that's also how I get hooked into other offers. Like, I don't necessarily buy equipment for the studio, and as you can see, we're in Farfetch Sound right now. I don't necessarily buy equipment for the studio if there's not some kind of discount or some kind of bonus that comes along with it, whether that's like insurance or things like that. And typically you don't buy things unless there's at least a couple things in the offer stack that you're looking for. Obviously the first thing hopefully will solve your problem that you're trying to get solved, but typically you're going to want a little bit more on top of that to sweeten the deal. And that's what most marketers are doing these days. I don't think I've seen an ad that doesn't at least give you a discount, or you get buy one, get one free, and things like that. So the offer needs to be irresistible, and you make it that way with bonuses.
Absolutely. Good coverage of that section. So the next section of the book talks about the value ladder, which we briefly got into, and this is a nice segue because at the end there with the offer, you initially mentioned, of course, the one-time offer and the irresistible offer, and you were getting into the details of the core offer. Now that you have your core offer, what else can you provide for your customer, right? So that's when you get into the value ladder.
Yeah. And so when we're talking about value ladders and offer stacks, the thing that you offer in addition to your core offer, whether that's a CD or a free fitness hour, or you sell supplements, or any other product or service, you want to find things that go along with that to go in your offer stack or your value ladder. You don't want to offer something that is basically unrelated. I wouldn't offer you an info product and then a free hour of fitness training. It just doesn't make sense.
Or
unless that book is about fitness and you're
Right.
into fitness, then I wouldn't offer you .com Secrets and then a free hour of fitness training.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?